is on that mobility, they want to spread the map, so you have more room to make use of it. So once again, it will be FlyQuest trying to pull them apart. Ezreal locked in for WildTurtle, one of the safest self-healing carries that you can have.
Yep.
Also going to build some armor inherently in the build to deal with Shock Blast later.
One of my favorite parts of Ezreal is that ultimate no longer has fall off going through targets, so also helps with assassination. Akali comes to the backline. You can help and add 700 damage on top. I always love marks with backline access alongside assassins on your team.
Turtle also has a long history of stealing objectives with long-range marksman ultimates, getting Baron steals, Elder Dragon steals, so that is on the table as well.
All right, well, clear directions forward for both these squads. Team Liquid in a very action-packed and incredibly close game one had earned the edge in this series, but it's a best of 5. It's up to adaptation. The Taric band away means a new bot lane, a new look for Team Liquid here. We do have impact on the Jayce. I know it's not popular with many of the fans, but he is still not playing tanks. He's playing some carries. He's playing damage in the top lane. So far, so good.
Yep, and it's back-to-back games. It will be carry versus carry in that top lane. Viper certainly having an incredible game on the Aurelia last game, but Impact was 4-1-4, did have some critical contributions in those team fights on the cannon, and we'll see if Viper can edge out any sort of advantage against Kali.
I have to say, this one's going to be an even bigger test. Impact has gotten solo killed by multiple tanks while he's piloting the Jayce, and this time around, it's an Akali. Incredible burst damage, and that level 6 will be scary.
Gonna be very scary as we move on to this one. Paranoia afoot. Team Liquid and FlyQuest ready to go into the Rift for game 2. A best of 5 to join TSM in the finals. It'd be Team Liquid defending their 3rd straight shot at it. FlyQuest first time as an organization. Viper hoping to make it in his rookie split would be quite the tale to tell. Looking now as we move around. Fans excited? So are we. Pobelter and Jensen trade blows. Or scathing looks in the mid lane.
Scathing looks more accurate here.
Yeah.
Staring each other down.
All right, we're not seeing the invade once again. Last time around, we saw FlyQuest going for the level 1 base check, got heavily bursted down, and First Blood even being picked up by Team Liquid. So we're playing it much more cautiously this time. TSM making it a representation here
that was
as well.
Yesterday. But you'll see him again next week in St. Louis. Best of 5 for the title and a spot at the mid-season invitational. That's all to play next time. One of these two teams will join them over there as we're ready to go into this one.
Going to be very, very interesting to see how this one is playing out. I'm also interested to see how DoubleLift is going to be able to deal with all this dive on the Sivir. Not someone who has any sort of move block or dash to actually escape a lot of these champions diving forward. You do have the spell shield, you do have the speed up from the ultimate, but he has gone for a more defensive route with his keystone also, taking fleet footwork as opposed to a lethal tempo. But even with all of that, if these guys can get on top of that Sivir, it's really just kind of up to CoreJJ and Xmithie to try to peel for you.
Meanwhile, I love watching the matchup here of Pobelter versus his replacement. Once again, Pobelter got the counter pick, and we saw him going offensive early with the LeBlanc, trying to whittle down that health pool from Jensen.
Turtle getting an extra potion and ward. Gonna just kind of chill so far in this lane. More trading in this mid side as Jensen actually getting a bit lower. Pobelter having a decent shot with these early trades. Q not gonna land, good walk away.
Yeah, Jensen covering the origin of the distortion there with the Sleepy Trouble Bubble, so Pobelter does not take it back. Wins out a little bit more in health. It's all about the corrupting potion charges, and they're actually burning through them very quickly here. Only 2.5 minutes, and there are no more charges left for Jensen.
Yep, Pobelter still does have the one. It is double cleanse here in the mid lane. Both of these guys feeling like they are going to need it to stay safe, and I do think it's an intelligent choice, especially when you're considering it's not just about LeBlanc chains. There's the Galio taunt that you're going to have to deal with later on in the team fighting.
Still playing aggressively there. Pobelter goes into the minion wave, getting Jensen down to 200 HP.
And I mean, you talked about how very frequently LeBlanc is banned out when you're going to grab the Zoe. This time it was not, so they did leave this up, feeling that Jensen would be able to survive that matchup, would be able to play it out, and we'll see how he's going to be able to do. I mean, the farm is pretty much just dead even right now, but the trades are going slightly in Pobelter's favor. Both these guys, though, out of potion charges, so really next advantageous trade feels like it sends someone back to base or even maybe a kill.
Yeah, time to call your jungler, honestly, is what I feel like whenever I see no more potion charges and half health on both mid laners. No jungler making their way here, though, so it is just 1v1.
1v1, more minions to farm for Pobelter. Slightly down in health, though, but Jensen not getting any more damage done. Viper pushed out of lane, and look at this. It's 25-12 in CS. That's going to be a forced TP very early on. Not going to have more than a couple of longswords to his name, or maybe even less than that.
Yeah, and credit to Impact. Very well done. You know, certainly has gotten criticism for his play, especially on lane bullies. And Jayce is a champion where you want to be dominating lane, and so far, so good. These early levels are going to be the hardest for Akali. But Impact is making the most of it, and we'll see if he can continue to extend that advantage.
Yeah, and we see the differences, right? When you're up against a tank, the Conqueror is very common for the Jayce. He's got an Airy here because there is no tank on FlyQuest. It's all about can they land the burst damage and chunk people extremely low. Santorin has made a visit here, not stepped over the ward quite yet, possibly waiting for some more offensive moves.
And when you do go Airy Scorch, I really feel like it's the most laning power that Jayce can grab from those runes. You're having so much additional poke. Anytime Viper is stepping forward, you get that auto down to proc your Airy, and you're constantly trying to keep him low. And that is why we saw Viper buy 3 potions, buy a cloth armor. That was his base. He is going very defensive because he knows when you expend the early TP, you have to be able to hang around in lane until at least level 6 you're hoping.
And the other advantage here for Impact, pushing in that minion wave, he can actually walk back, doesn't have to use his teleport. You can use it to try and keep up the pressure, but he has the time and the choice. So he is going to use it to go into the lane and try and keep up the pressure here onto Viper.
And this is just a choice, you know, as you say, he could hold on to it, but this is him saying, no, I'm going to try to push you out and force you to have another bad buy, another bad recall. And, you know, it's going to be that battle between Viper trying to sustain, trying to survive and avoid damage, and Impact trying to punish him, because the next recall is the one where you get the big advantages, where you start taking plates, because he won't have TP for that.
At this point, every shock blast that lands is another health potion almost that Viper has to use. 2 left in inventory. Impact defends his control ward and just runs him off.
It's more CS, it's more XP dropped as well. Nice headbutt, but still ton it back, and now we got Santorin around as well. CoreJJ with a nice flash, but still gonna be feared, still out of range of follow through. Burns his own summoner spells. 2 flashes out for the Team Liquid side.
Yeah, very valuable gank still for Santorin, even though they don't get a kill. A lot of summoners blown there on the side of Team Liquid.
Yeah, the fact that you didn't have to spend any of your own means it's a pretty easy repeat gank. Once Santorin hits 6, I think you want to go straight down to that bottom lane. You can set that up with a taunt flash from JayJ, Nocturne flying in. Sivir going to be very vulnerable during that timing window.
Yeah, the first Nocturne ultimate is going to be incredibly important. Santorin farming his way ahead, as both these junglers are level 6 reliant. Big dodge there from Viper not to take damage, but he's denied the cannon minion. Impact kind of shoots that one right over, so he's not able to get it.
58-31 in CS right now. And that's with cloth armor, the TP back, and more potions. So it is not looking good right now for Viper. Another trade in the mid side. Good damage out from Pobelter. Lands a second chain as well. Getting Jensen quite low. If he had ignited, almost be enough. He's forced the cleanse. Bubble blocked by a minion. Secret Service there, but now comes round 2. Does he guess correctly? No, the right one was up at the top. Burns the spine anyway, walks right back out.
Yeah, you want to start spamming your move commands on your clone as soon as you get out, so both of them are walking around. Keep them guessing. Pobelter does get out of this one, but now they're going in!
Big damage to dive in for Nocturne. Where's the flash going to be? The chase in! He pulls him back! What a play as Xmithie keeps his teammate alive, but the flash, the ignite, cleansed back out, and he's safe. Jensen's going to stay alive.
Are FlyQuest safe, though? Impact's coming down. CoreJJ heads up the mid lane, and they run them back. Very explosive team fight here in the mid lane. Jensen burns both summoners to stay alive.
He does stay alive, and critically, this relieves some pressure for the TL bottom lane as well. We talked about how the fact that DoubleLift has no combat summoner, he has no flash. He would have been very vulnerable to that Nocturne ultimate. It got expended here, and it was not rewarded with a kill, but they want to go in, flash back out of range from Pobelter there, then waits until the spell shield is off, pulls him away with the Skarner ultimate.
Yeah, really good peel there from Xmithie, then uses his own flash over the wall. And even though JayJ flashed for the ignite on Jensen, he's running cleanse in the mid lane.
Nice job right there, hitting his buttons and staying safe. So no kills on the board, but a very close game overall. And now Santorin, nice job, waits out the spell shield, then gets his own done. Yeah, still fighting, and They trade back and forth.
Here comes Viper.
The squad. That's a slow. Has to watch out for the bubble. Flashes forward. First ult used. He's invisible. Round 2. Can he land it for the damage output's gotta watch out for Jensen though. And he can't go for it. Commits the flash, gets nothing. And now watch out. Impact. Gonna land some damage. And there is first blood for Jensen against Viper.
Jensen with the Spell Thief exhaust there completely turned it around. I don't think Viper was taking that into account. He flashed in for it, got exhausted immediately. Jensen saves his jungler there.
Yeah, you can see Viper wanted to create a play. He's been spending the entire lane phase just getting harassed by Jayce over and over, pushed under the turret, losing CS, saw an opportunity to try and get some gold in this game, but is too far reaching for FlyQuest. With Impact coming down, they close the gates, they get the first blood, and now he has freedom with this top turret, multiple plates taken down.
I mean, that is just massive because not only does Viper die, he expended his flash and his ult. You have no kill pressure on the Jayce now. Jayce got free turret plates there. That's your kind of opportunity to swing that matchup back. And here it is one more time. Look at the Spell Thief's exhaust immediately onto Viper as he goes in. Exhaust just now expiring, but Xmithie is already out of there and they can turn it around.
Yep, Viper running back out of the cloud, but Impact has made his way down, and Jensen could be able to use Viper's own flash to kill him.
The flash betrayed him.
Beautiful stuff, though, and it's Team Liquid, 1,300 gold ahead. Top lane specifically is exactly that advantage as well. So really tough stuff, differing leads around the map everywhere else. As Impact, the critique was, well, if he plays tanks, then Team Liquid's looking good, but he's on AP Cannon, he's on Jayce, and he's winning this lane really hard here.
They say practice makes perfect. There's a reason they put some extra time into it, I guess.
Yeah, certainly has paid off that practice so far, but you know, Viper, that roam really feels to me like that is what blew the lane open. I think that the disadvantage there was more okay because you're thinking, well, hey, if he hits 6 and he has kill pressure, maybe it gets turned around. Now he has a full Hex Drinker and Merc Shreds, a very defensive build from Impact because he knows it's only going to be Pobelter or Viper matching you in a side lane. Both of these guys are magic damage. Both of these guys need to have full kill threat to be able to really contest you.
All right. Mid lane once again. Xmithie trying to keep the vision around here for Jensen, a guy that likes to play lane dominant. And there's been so much action expended from both sides around that mid lane. Skarner, though, picking up the Spire, gives a lot of stats here for easy dragons.
This looks very easy to do, and you mentioned action before. Ultimate's up for both junglers as well. Watch out for that. Play gonna land the Paddle Star. Pobelter at half, more damage out from Jensen, and be careful because CoreJJ is around. We have ult for the junglers. We have the chance for Nocturne to come in, for Skarner to find that kill. There's no contest. There's a pickup on that Drake. The Ez ult attempts, not going to land for WildTurtle. We might have round 2 of the jungle guys coming in pretty soon, especially with FlyQuest feeling a bit behind. You feel like Santorin must pull the trigger at some point.
All right, he's got stopwatch as well, so it could be a possible dive opportunity, but when he's looking down the list, there's not a lot of vulnerable areas. Jensen's flash will come back up soon. Still has cleanse. They've got control wards. He's going for it before it's up, though.
This one, stopwatch goes in, finds a bit of damage, but now going to pull him right back into the turret. Only a single shot, though, as he runs. Not going to get Paddle Starred. Out he goes.
Here comes Impact.
Bit of over ult shot. Blast going to get blocked by Pobelter. Sends in the clone, runs away. They're going to stay alive. And the second roam still looks pretty good for Impact.
With that low health bars, though, it's going to mean Team Liquid will be able to get some turret plates at least. JayJ comes over.
Stun up by CoreJJ. Headbutts him not quite the right direction. Able to get away from that stun, but 2 plates down. A little bit of time for the top laner to farm. That's at least a sigh of relief for Viper, but it's only a single wave.
Yeah, that stopwatch was huge from Jensen. Not only buying time for Impact to get down, but actually, muting the damage coming in from the Nocturne ult. He did it so early, and they almost were able to turn that around for some kills, but FlyQuest does escape, and it did cost Impact his flash, so that will be a slight edge over to Viper, who's going to have his up first.
Yeah, that flash for the Shock Blast, I feel like you have to also count on a mistake for Pobelter, who's right next to him, to allow that to go through if that play is going to pay off. It doesn't happen. And so now at least there is some sort of opening maybe in the top side where Impact doesn't have flash. Maybe next Paranoia, Nocturne, Ultimate plus an Akali all in could bring back Viper, but besides that, it is looking very dire on that side of the map.
Yeah, it really does feel like a lot of the onus is on Santorin because there is this early Hex Drinker and Merc Shreds. It's so hard for Akali to really hit that all-in level where you can go for a 100-0 style play on Jayce. where Nocturne does have the ability to add that critical damage. It's all physical damage from him, and there's no armor purchased up from Jayce.
Well, bot lane has already lost 2 turrets right now as Team Liquid have a very large gold lead. 2,500. Got to be more than the average for both these teams. This is Team Liquid smashing the early game right now, and what was a much closer one over in game 1, but a more conventional composition, and really across the board doing great.
We'll see if Xmithie just rushes straight top to drop the Rift Herald. There is about 20 seconds, and yeah, he's going to try to go for plates here. He wants to be able to cash in. I'm not sure if it'll make it there quite in time.
Yeah, I think it will.
It's going to be pretty close here. There's only about 10 seconds, so it should actually get the charge. It will get them last 2 plates. It will get only the solo gold onto Jayce as well. You can see him donating that full amount of gold over to Impact, so really putting priority on getting him way ahead, and he is up 2,400. That is insane.
Yeah, I feel like Impact would have gotten that anyway. Maybe not in time for the plates, but they got that extra one.
Right, yeah. It's
with charge.
Yep. The first plate was for sure. His second one was up for debate. Either way, Shelly does go down. Viper kills it, but 43 CS down, plus the 5 turret plate first turret. This is a mountain to climb right now, and Viper's got Everest in front of him here. Impact looking pretty good in this game. Looking good all series long.
Yeah, and quietly down on the bottom side of the map. These guys have been farming away. Sivir did go for the Essence Reaver as the first item. This is a bit more utility-based. You'll be able to wave clear essentially infinitely. You'll always be able to regen that mana, and you're going to have the extra CDR for more frequent ultimates, helping out the Skarner, helping out some of these members who are looking for that hard engage.
3,000, the difference. Xmithie in the bottom side, waiting around for Santorin, who is near there as well, but not in ult range. But we once again have jungle ultimates available. 9-0 in plates, not a surprise here. Gold difference, of course, massive as well. And every single time Santorin has shown up, Xmithie was there to counter gank it and keep his team alive. One of these cases, they even got the kill for it.
Yeah, it's looking pretty difficult here for FlyQuest, considering they're the team that wants to spread out and try and take advantages that way, where Team Liquid has a much easier route to try and group up 4 objectives. Like bottom side, there's going to be another Infernal Drake. Currently top side, Impact is going to have a hard time though.
This is a 3v1 without flash. This seems unlikely that he lives. The fear is in. On the board, can they donate? Yes, they do. Viper, finally, some gold in his pockets.
And a really good timing to actually kill him, because this could potentially prevent TL from just rushing down the Infernal. We'll see if FlyQuest can wrest some of the control on that side of the map back whatsoever, but for now, it is actually WildTurtle's just heading towards mid lane, and it may be a free bot lane turret there for DoubleLift.
Ring assignments around. There goes bot lane outer. So 2-0 in turrets. FlyQuest's only score point is the fact that they got a single kill in a 3v1 against a flashless Jayce. They are kind of getting thrown away in this one as 2 item spikes are coming through for the Ezreal. Not just yet here for the Sivir, but golden inventory is reasonably high for Azael. And here comes Infernal Break number 2, and there's not even a FlyQuest map member while zoomed out on the screen.
Yeah, I mean, there's just too much extra strength for Team Liquid grouping up down here by the Infernal Drake. They just used their Nocturne ultimate on the top side of the map. Pobelter walking up there on the LeBlanc too, so FlyQuest committed for that kill, and Team Liquid get another Infernal Drake.
Yeah, and the next one's going to be Infernal as well, and it feels like giving up a triple Infernal advantage is almost always a loss, so we'll see if FlyQuest is going to be willing to try to fight for that one. It becomes such a big target now for these 2 teams. Seeing that next fight around it, who can gain the advantage, and can Impact draw enough pressure in a side lane to continue to extend his lead or open up opportunities for the rest of his team.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Or even in a 1v1 here. Xmithie actually trying to chase down Pobelter. Doesn't have any extra speed and just going to clear out the wards. But even if Team Liquid bring those poke champions together, Shock Blast we just saw, like the burst damage that can come through here, with no outer turrets to hide behind for FlyQuest, this defense gets difficult.
And of course, the opposite side of it was the downside of double AP assassins. He's built for the Akali. Already he's got the items he needs to survive the LeBlanc. It means that Santorin has to be a part of it. The physical damage assassin on the squad to convert the rest of the damage or Hex Drink or Merc Threads is simply too efficient.
Yeah, but then you're drawing so much pressure, you're requiring so many cooldowns. As we saw in that previous kill, they did take him down, but it cost their ultimates, it costs multiple members on that side of the map, and that does open up, as Kobe pointed out, for them to take an easy dragon elsewhere. So we'll see if they can get Viper kind of slowly back into this game. But for now, the advantage has remained heavily on the side of Impact.
Well, looking at Team Liquid overall as a team, already setting up now around this top jungle. They know Baron spawns in just under 2 minutes, and this feels like the first 15 games Team Liquid. Every single one of these players winning lane. They're up in plates. They're giving up almost nothing. Xmithie is always there to counter gank and almost immaculate in most of these cases. Now looking at round 2 into the top jungle. Galio joining it as well. The burst damage to the backline finally happens. 1 kill picked off at a Jensen. Looking at round 2, the health bar is quite low. They might get the kill. Good flash play by Santorin, but DoubleLift does answer back onto the opposing mid laner. Red buff goes down. DoubleLift wearing that one as well. Looks like Viper wants in, can't find it. Could be shut down, gets away. Shock blast gonna land. They will indeed get JayJ 2-1 Team Liquid in this fight.
Yep, FlyQuest lose to WildTurtle actually in there as well. DoubleLift chasing him down.
Couple more shots will get him, forcing the flash away. The turret not enough to kill DoubleLift. Out they go.
Yeah, Viper forced a lot of kind of cooldowns and pressure in that fight, but not able to kill anyone. Was staying in that shot for so long, getting people low, poking at them, but not able to have the lethal damage to actually finish anyone off. And here it is one more time. Jensen trying to poke away at that mid lane. Pobelter finds him out. They decide to commit to the play, committing in with that Galio ultimate, getting a fairly big taunt on multiple members. Viper now coming in from the top.
Yeah, that was a big opportunity. Nice AoE being done, but Team Liquid also collapsing there, and then DoubleLift throws out the boomerang blade as Pobelter dashes in on the LeBlanc, right into the damage, cuts him down. And on the way out, Impact gets the charge up to short the punch there from Galio.
And Viper bought a lot of time for Turtle to actually kind of poke away and get some damage out, but because they had already lost members, already had Pobelter push back out of the fight, there wasn't really enough damage for them to actually capitalize all the time. He was buying with the Shroud, and with that space he was kind of creating for his marksman.
It really feels like gold leads at work, and it's now 4,500 plus double Infernal Drake. That's Team Liquid really cashing in on the early game, and it was good. Teal looking a bit back on form here. Game 1 was close. Game 2, they are slaughtering FlyQuest here and heading fast towards the Game 3.
Yeah, they definitely are, and DoubleLift getting stronger and stronger. Just completed his rapid fire, bought a Hex Drinker on top of that. Gonna make that kill threat so much harder to achieve again for Pobelter and Viper. It really does feel like Santorin has to do so much work in this game, as everyone is going to be itemizing towards MR. Everyone is going to be kind of stacking the deck against those guys.
I think the work has to be done while Team Liquid are prepping the side waves. When they're split up like this, then maybe there's an opportunity to get a 2v1 advantage. Jump on them with the Paranoia. Santorin now level 11. You've got 2 levels in it. Try and look for a possible pick.
On the sides, going in towards CoreJJ, trying to bait out CC, or even the aftershock cooldown. Can't find that one. Bit of an opportunity. No quick silver sash on anyone on the FlyQuest side. They can't afford that tax. You gotta run away from this one. There's a quick drowsy bubble gunning away, but there is the pull. They found Ezreal, and maybe you gotta pay your tax. It's April after all. 2 for 0, make it 3. Team Liquid will not be stopped.
That is a huge fight for TL right before Infernal is spawning, but they're just gonna go straight for Baron with Santorin, Pobelter, and Turtle all off the map. They could take Baron and potentially even still get the Infernal. They are so strong right now.
Yeah, this game is completely different from game number 1. Team Liquid absolutely crushing it. No hesitation here. Flashes from Xmithie and CoreJJ to get the engagement. Baron buff will be their reward, and that might be the Baron buff that gets them inside the base to look towards game 3.
Off they go, trying to answer this Drake themselves. It's the 2 poorest members on the team. Without checking, it's not accurate. Doesn't really matter. They don't have the time anyway. They don't have that sustained DPS, and it will be triple Infernal to Team Liquid.
Yeah, here this is one more time. Jensen with the sleep from so far away, and then you called out just before this, no QSSs, so the flash in with Predator, ult onto Turtle. He's gone immediately, and then CoreJJ knocking up Pobelter, gets knocked down as well.
Yeah, they instantly take out both of the FlyQuest carries there. Pobelter's thinking, yeah, all right, this one looking like it's going to be Team Liquid's.
Looks a little doomed, especially with Shock Blast like that. Pobelter can't defend the turret. DoubleLift and Impact join up to make that one fall down. Even Hexdrinker picked up now by that Sivir to make sure nothing goes pear-shaped. 9,000 gold up. This is pretty easy. Team Liquid not even content to go for that Infernal Drake. They want to siege turrets right now while they still got that Baron buff.
Yeah, you definitely want to make the most of the Baron buff. They've got heavily damaging poke champions here with a lot of AP and AD stacked up and multiplied by the Infernals they already have. So they're just poking away at both mid and top turret right now.
Yeah, and they always know they can retreat back to that Infernal if necessary because they have so much of this map control. But now, stepping forward, getting a lot of damage down on this turret. Looks like the inhibitor turret's just going to be seated.
Here we go, turret's going to drop. They're going to try for the top lane instead. Impact going to pop the flash and does get out of range back towards his team. Look at the re-engage. Ooh, forcing a flash out of Santorin. Xmithie could find that. Oh, they've got the burst. They've got 2 kills yet again. Many in a row. Pobelter on the run. Just gets away from Xmithie, but doesn't need to press R. They've got the inhibitor anyway. And here comes the wave. Here comes the Nexus turrets. It's not even 24 minutes in, and Team Liquid are slaughtering FlyQuest. The turrets now, they can't run away. Only the champions can, and the rest have already died. Turret number 1 is gone. Turret 2 in their sights, and Team Liquid, game 2 is theirs as well. Will they pad the KDA? Looks like not. Maybe Pobelter says yes. Add another assist. Game 2 is Liquid's.
And Team Liquid looking like the back-to-back defending champions. Winning the first 2 games here. Number 1 with a mage in the bottom lane. Number 2 with Jayce split pushing topside.
Yeah, you got to give so much credit to Impact. I seriously think that top lane was such a difference this game. They held Viper down. He was not able to have that huge effect that he had in game number 1. And with everything else working around the map, Xmithie protecting Jensen in that bad matchup in the mid lane. Once TL got going, it felt like no one could stop him.
Yeah, I think Xmithie's defense was extremely good here from the jungle. The peel in the mid lane, saving the mid laner, constantly keeping vision for the top side as well for Impact to really be able to abuse that matchup.
Yeah, really good stuff. That is back to the big brain Xmithie. We expect very rarely does he have those misgivings, and had a couple losses with that, but Xmithie is just the best jungler. First team by far. We all know this. He has been the best in North America for several years now. Lots of titles to his name. Looking for yet another, his 3rd with Team Liquid. This is the super team that people expected coming in. This was the 14-1 run. And I feel like with a game like this, with a 24-minute win in 3 seconds, you forget about that 3-game loss streak at the end where they'd already locked in first, and they're just taking care of business now.
One of the critical things that people were still looking for from this team was winning games without tank on top side, you know, without front-to-back team fighting. And that's another goal that they're accomplishing here.
Yeah, definitely a very promising performance from Impact.
Promising from Impact, promising from Team Liquid. They're speedrunning this one. And for a breakdown of Game 2, let's get the rundown from the State Farm Analyst Desk.
Thank you very much, Phreak. This is feeling oddly familiar as TL moves to 2-0 in another dominant victory over FlyQuest. We saw the response from FlyQuest in taking out that Taric, just as was mentioned, kind of, again, mirroring our series yesterday. But I want to take a look at the rest of the draft and what followed, because this game felt even more dominant for Team Liquid than the first.
Yeah, I thought the draft sucked for FlyQuest. First pick Jayce. All around the world, everyone's doing it. Amazing laner, and then you take the Akali. Not a very strong laner early on.
It's a straight counter. Like, Jayce counters a
straight counter, and then you match them together. You've lost all pressure in the top lane. In the bottom lane, you have your Galio, so he's not going to be able to do a whole lot early on because you have a jungler that doesn't gank early on. And then where do you go? Where does Nocturne help? He's not going to gank the Zoe with the LeBlanc. So where are the windows of opportunity to win for FlyQuest here? I just don't see them. Even an engage, Nocturne goes in first, dies right away. What does everyone else do? I didn't get it.
It's like a 1-3-1 comp, but Nocturne can go wherever. But the thing was with FlyQuest, where they felt like they were best, it's when they picked very like team fight focused comps. They're all going to work together. They're being selfless. Here, it's like multiple people want to carry all 3 lanes in the top side, not 3 lanes, but the Nocturne as well. And then on top of the miss ban, like ban Skarner, ban Lee Sin, ban a number of champions that you could have banned there in the jungle position because that's clearly what's being pinched right now. And you get the first pick on red side, so you just take whatever's left up, and hopefully you push Xmithie down.
I just want to remind people that Nocturne is not a hard engage champion. He's an addition to a hard engage. He obviously bolsters it with the paranoia by being able to do a lot of damage. If he's the one that has to go in, you've already messed up.
Right. In a vacuum, I like FlyQuest's comp if you ignore the other comp. But you have three losing lanes with a jungler that isn't strong until 6, that is also versus a jungler that is also strong at 6. So you really have nothing going for you to set up the position where you want to 1-3-1 when you have so many losing lanes. It's good to go for that, but you need to make sure that it's in the situation where you're able to do that, right? It's not like they chose those lane matchups themselves, knowing that they're going to go into who they wanted. And I don't know why they would do that. I've done the Akali matchup into Jayce. I got destroyed. I went 0-10. It's awful.
I think part of it might have been a bit of a call out on Impact, who in the regular season had Jayce games that were not particularly compelling, getting solo killed by Ornn. And I think people forget that, like, Impact in playoffs is a totally different monster, in my opinion. If you look at his stats, they're marginally better in playoffs. You know, it's a little bit better CSD, a little bit better KDA. But you need to remember, that's against playoff opponents. There's no 10th place team that he's slamming
that
to
you're
improve
farming CS out.
Yeah, you're not improving your stats off non-playoff teams. So he actually plays better against, you know, tough opponents. And remember the gauntlet runs that we've seen out of him. And it feels once again here, this is like, yeah, we'll take that tough matchup high and we'll beat him because Viper's a better carry player. And it's like, not against playoff Impact.
No, doesn't seem to be that way. Okay, so based on the discussion around champions, like, that already doesn't sound like FlyQuest has much of a chance in this game. And I think we saw exactly that as the early Infernal Drakes are picked up by TL with total control over the map. They just have their choice. What do we want to do next? What objective do we want to take? What buff do we want to pick up? And then even when the fights did come 18 minutes into the game, they went in favor of TL. Too far behind the play now at this point
and it's
for FlyQuest.
Really difficult for FlyQuest to take this fight at this point because there's 2 Infernals on the side of Team Liquid. They're so powerful. And the Akali, yes, you make it into the fight, but everyone's already chunked out. Only WildTurtle can really supplement this, and one lonely AD carry at this point is not enough.
And still look at how close it is. Like a disgusting flash by CoreJJ to get out of the Akali ult. They're still going in. There's multiple people left at like 300 HP on the side of Team Liquid. And it's one of those fights where with a little bit better draft and the enemy team doesn't have the double Infernal Drake, like, that was winnable. Close. It was winnable. But they got outplayed. They didn't have as good of a draft, and they fell behind early.
Right. I think it's a disrespect to pick Akali into Jayce in a top lane matchup where you don't have a stronger jungler. And I think he learned his lessons there. Down 45 CS in 15 minutes, had no control, died from his roam because he couldn't lane top anymore. So he was forced to go middle, feeds the enemy mid laner a kill, and then you're just like, oh my God, what is happening in this game?
That's a tough lesson to learn as well in the middle of a best-of-5 semifinal in the playoffs here. 2-0 lead for Team Liquid. Team Liquid with side choice in Game 3 stays on blue. So again, we're heading back into Champions Select with a clean slate, same size. Crumbs, what's the answer?
Here's what to do. Don't ban Taric. First rotation, Sona Taric as FlyQuest. You've never played it before. It doesn't matter.
Well,
you pick it.
Taric.
Just pick it. Team Liquid's not going to first pick Taric. That's kind of goofy. But if they do, then you got to take Sona, I guess. But just lock it away. Just take it. Why not?
The problem with that is it's such a tell because, like, you banned it in Game 2. You're on the same side. You leave it up. It's like
you're on the verge. You're on the verge of defeat.
Yeah, but
right. But I guess is the point there then that TL would just be like, okay, now first pick Taric. Because, well, you're not going to only take Sona.
So what, are you going to take Sona, or are you going to give the comp back over? Or if you do take Sona, great, we have Taric, which is a fine support champion. We saw Treat smash with it in Academy. People,
without the Sona.
Yeah, people do just play Taric by himself. No one plays Sona.
You got to take that game of chicken at this point, though. Like, what else do you have?
Hey, I mean, to your point.
What else you have is what Mark talked about, which is what they were known for throughout the regular split was team fighting, right? Yep. And if that was a 1-3-1 composition, then throw that out and build me the ideal FlyQuest team fighting comp. What is that?
Well, they kind of need I don't think they're getting the Sona Taric. We've seen them play a lot on Lissandra really strongly, but Team Liquid is banning that out. So now they're forcing Pobelter and non-traditional like team fighting champions, right? So they really need to figure out how can they create a comp where they're able to take these 5v5s, but even then they're losing these late 5v5 games against Team Liquid. So what do they do now? They've lost their early game draft of 1-3-1. They lose the assassin matchups. They lose the early game, and they've lost late game team fighting. What can they pull out to try?
So
and
I think you at least start then by banning out the usual suspect. Jayce, 2 games in a row. You've lost 2 games in a row. Team Liquid has picked it every single time. Ban it out and see if they go with something else. So at least that's a jumping off point for them to do something different.
Right, forcing Team Liquid into a different look is definitely one approach they can take. More holistically looking at this best-of-5, we were in this exact position yesterday with Cloud9 versus TSM. Cloud9 looked quite dominant in their first 2 victories, and then TSM found that answer to turn things around in Game 3 and put 3 wins back-to-back-to-back. What do you guys feel is the likelihood of seeing that happen in this series as compared to yesterday?
Very slim because I went for the 3-0, so you guys have to defend your 1 win for FlyQuest.
I think it's really tough to do because TSM, like you heard them talk about coming in and they felt a lot of pressure. Maybe like when they went down 0-2, the pressure came off their shoulders. FlyQuest came into this series saying, we don't feel like we have a ton of pressure on our shoulders already. So
they can't take lower.
It's not like a mentality change that seems to have happened for TSM to turn around. So it does feel like it needs to be strategically and mechanically in the game.
All right, they're going to have to dig deep if they want to turn this one around. You're taking a look at the
Got
FlyQuest
Smiles.
team huddle right there. Hey, Smiles is something you want to see. Team Liquid are 1 win away from defending their title in St. Louis.
That's a
See what
force smile
FlyQuest
right
has
there.
to say about it in Game 3. Don't go anywhere.